This is our first experiment in trying a live stream. So thanks for everybody who's out there watching and waiting. Waiting for our fellow guests to show up if they get a chance. So let's see here. Forgive me, as this is my first live stream and I'm still learning what to do. See who's in the chat, shall we? All right. We have Steve Vincent of Check Your Shelf, Jeff of Jeff's Cave of Cool Books, Bobby Deary, McManiac, hey, and Sean Curley of the official Conan the Barbarian channel. Let me bring in Jeff here.
There we go.
Hear me,
hey,
Jeff?
How's it going?
Good.
Yep. Hey, everybody.
Glad you made it.
Yep. Actually, I just got done recording an episode with Sean from the official Conan channel.
Okay.
I heard Sean's.
Your mic's just a little bit soft.
Is it? Let's fix that. How about that? Better?
Dennis. We got Dennis McHaney in the chat. So saw the video that you guys that Sean just dropped on the channel a couple hours ago on the gods of the Hyborian age.
I haven't even watched it yet. I don't even remember what all I said. We recorded that a while ago. I hope it was good.
Let me bring in another guest here. Hey, Steve. Steve, I don't believe you've met Jeff Shanks. Jeff, this is Steve of Check Your.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Nice to meet you, Jeff.
Nice to meet you, too.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
All right. Well, I actually have some people who showed up to watch the car wreck, so this ought to be good.
I'm going to pull up. Let me pull up this is my phone here so I can see the chat.
Can you see it at all?
No, I can't see it here. Oh, wait. There it is. Hang on. Found it. Cool. Never mind. I just didn't have it open.
Well, there you go.
There we go. Cool. Yeah, there's Sean.
Okay.
There's Bobby. Bobby's on here.
Yep.
Dennis.
And
nice.
Got
Hey, guys.
Dennis McHaney and Tim from Secret Fire Books. So we have more people than I expected would show up. So this is interesting.
There's always more than you expect. And it's always more chaotic than you expect.
I need another drink.
Oh.
Yeah, at least one.
Right.
All right. Well, I guess what we'll do is start off with some foundation news for everybody who's out there and is interested. If you haven't checked the website yet, our Volume 2 of Breckenridge Elkins is available for order right now. Mine was supposed to have there's actually arriving tomorrow, and it's damn shame it didn't show up today so I can show it on the stream. But, we'll just have to make do with Volume 1 here. And so you have Volume 1. In Volume 1, we have all of the short stories that Bob wrote about Breckenridge Elkins. Whether they were published or not, I think most of them were published because Action Magazine was buying just about every story that Bob sent them. There are very few that I know of outside of Elkins Never Surrenders that got rejected by Action Magazine. And Breckenridge Elkins 2, this is the ultimate, or our first edition, contains the fix-up novel A Gent from Bear Creek that Bob did, where he took the first 8 or 9 stories from Action Stories and then wrote additional filler material in between and introduced Breck's love interest, Glory. God, I can't remember her last name. You remember her last name, Jeff?
Oh, God, what was her last name? I don't remember.
Oh, Glory McGraw. There you go.
McGraw. That's it, yes.
Yeah, that's what came to me. And then in addition to the fix-up novel of The Gent from Bear Creek. It also has the knockoff characters of Breckenridge Elkins that Bob wrote.
Pike Bearfield
Pike Bearfield, Buckner J. Grimes,
Buckner,
and Bearfield Elston.
Yep. I'm going to show you something cool. Since we have Dennis McHaney in the chat, I'm going to show you one of the rarest Breckenridge Elkin collections of all time right here. Dennis, you looking, right? How many of these did you make? Put it in the chat. I think there's very few of them. This is a Breckenridge Elkin omnibus that Dennis McHaney put together a number of years ago. And I think he only made about like 5 of these or something, right? Dennis, if you're still watching, what was the print run on this thing? But this may be more rare than the original Gent from Bear Creek by Jenkins from the UK. I don't know. So fun one.
Yeah. So you've got all that to look forward to, Steve, because I think you will enjoy Breckenridge Elkins as much as you enjoyed Steve Costigan.
I think I will. I haven't read any Breckenridge Elkins, but
you're in for a treat, man.
He's Steve Costigan with a 6-shooter.
That's basically it. It's
right. I'm here for it.
It's one of the it's kind of over the top violence, but mixed with that kind of Davy Crockett almanac style, tall tale vibe to it. It's like Kill Bill meets Pecos Bill. Can't go wrong with that.
Yep, definitely. It's so fun.
Well, I got it. Our computer genius and webmaster Stola sent me a picture of the Breckenridge Elkins too. So let me see if I can share that here. And y'all can see that. All right. Hopefully you guys are able to see the complete set of Breckenridge Elkins books. And that 4-volume set is Breckenridge Elkins' first cuts. That's what Stola Gismarovic has been doing, is he's now starting to take all of the drafts that we have of all of the various stories that Bob did, and we're transcribing them and getting them put out in books. So those 4-volume set is all of the drafts for all of the Breckenridge Elkins material, all the short stories and the fix-up novel, A Gent from Bear Creek. And I think that's available for sale on our site. I'm not real certain. I went looking for it earlier today to try and check and see. I couldn't find it. So I don't know whether Stoll is ready to start selling it yet or not. And while Dennis is here in the chat, his doing a book for a benefit for the Howard House Fund, which sadly I do not have a picture of. Let me take that out of the way.
Shoot, I was supposed to get him a chapter for that. Damn it, Dennis. I'm sorry.
That's called First Passage by Robert E. Howard, where he took several of the drafts of some of the better, well, not better, but more well-known short stories that Bob wrote and has transcribed those. And he's gotten Gary Johnny to do art for the book. So it's very nice, very special book. I've seen pictures of it, seen some of the pictures that Gary drew, and all proceeds from that will go to the Howard House Repair Fund. So
outstanding.
Also, our cover artist, Mark Wheatley, he's in a downtime right now. So this is why he's able to finally get to doing all of the covers for the books. And so Fists of Iron volumes 2 and 3 we're just waiting for him to finish the covers on those. And
very good work.
Yeah, those should hopefully be out by the end of the month, hopefully, if not sooner.
I have all this money itching a hole in my pocket. As soon as those covers get done, I need volumes 2 and 3.
Well, they're coming.
Nice.
Let's see, anything I can think of. Paul was on here, but he was having trouble with his computer. So maybe he'll show back up once he gets it fixed up. But he can tell you, I think he's currently working on completing the text for Fist of Iron Volume 4, which is the last of the boxing books. And what exactly is in Fist of Iron Volume 4, Jeff? Because you were kind of semi-involved with the boxing books.
No, not really. I wasn't really involved in the books. That is, let me think about that.
What do-
2 and 3 was all the Costigans. Well, let's see.
Hi, Jeff.
So I know 4 is Steve Allison, Kid Allison book,
Yeah, Kid
stories.
Allison. I've got the first edition here. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was all the Kid Allison ones from Sports Story. A bunch of his Kid Galahad. It was a bunch of his non-funny westerns. Some of the later ones, because it was all done chronologically for the most part. More or less. Putting all these together. Some miscellaneous ones. The Kid Allison ones are probably the highlight of that one.
Yeah.
Well,
Welcome, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you great.
Okay.
So,
All right. I don't think I've had a chance to meet Jeff. Hi, Jeff.
hey, how's it going, other Jeff?
You never have too many Jeffs, right?
Right?
Now on, you shall be known as Other Jeff.
Right?
Are you using a different system there, John, than StreamYard? I'm trying to get used to it.
I am trying out Talk Studios from Streamlabs.
Ah,
It's got a more intuitive interface.
it looks
to
fine.
use.
It's got to get used to it. It's different system than I'm
the
used
big
to.
thing on it is you can, whereas StreamYards, you're limited to at most 10 people. We can put 15 people on the screen at one time. So
All right,
we can have
guys.
us a mini convention,
Challenge accepted. We need
Right.
15 people. We need 11 more people willing to join the chat.
Just to test it out.
Not the chat, the live. We need to test out. We need 15 people. Spread it. It'd be like the Brady Bunch.
Let's see some other stuff that's out. For those of you that are foundation members, hopefully you got our latest newsletter, the Robert E. Howard Fall newsletter, which, it being almost the end of winter, kind of speaks to how we kind of run things. We're slow but thorough. Our newsletters come out every
My wife
quarter.
said that about me.
And usually we'll have letters, and then we put photocopies of Bob's actual typescripts of stories and drafts and poems in it, so that you can read and see what he did when he typed. And let's see,
There's
for the
worse
house
things to
fund.
be accused of than
Yeah,
slow.
should we talk about the house a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about the house fund right now.
Yeah. How are we doing on the... So I guess real quick, for those who maybe didn't catch the last video where we gave the update on the house, where we're at, we have spoken to several contractors. I've been in contact with the Texas Historic Commission, with one of the architectural historians. It's one of the reviewers there that would ultimately review this project. I reached out to the Texas Trust for Historic Preservation, spoke with the grants coordinator there, and we're now applying for a Texas Trust for Historic Preservation development grant. Got the application in a few weeks ago for the initial application. It's a $50,000 matching grant, which means if we can raise $50,000, the state of Texas will also raise $50,000, which will give us $100,000 to do the repairs on the house. Based on some of the conversations we've had with contractors that specialize in doing work on historic structures like this, we're probably looking at somewhere around 150,000 ballpark. It's going to kind of depend on once they get all the way up under the house, what they find, things like that. But we're making a great dent in it. The response from fans to this has just been overwhelming. It's been all hands on deck. The Lovecraft Historical Society, is pitching in. I think maybe we're going to talk about that, and the raffle that they're doing. Dennis putting together this book, Heroic Signatures, has donated, merchandise and stuff for this. I know that there's some other entities out there that are, planning to contribute as well, but the fans, that's what's been amazing. Regular fans like, you guys out there, contributing whatever you can. And John, how much are we at now?
I checked it this afternoon, and we've jumped up since we did that house update. We're now $33,028. So that's incredible. So thank you so very much.
$33,000, and that's just from regular fans out there doing their part, and it is so appreciated. The house is something really special. We're fortunate, to have the Howard House. I know like Lovecraft's house at 10 Barn Street in Providence has been turned into college apartments, and I mean, we're lucky to have this house. It's a treasure. It truly is. And so we all need to do our part to help save it.
Going to say real quick, Chris from Liminal Spaces. Good to have you on, Chris. Hello, Bat Merc. Did you miss anything? Yeah, we just announced that Breckenridge Elkins Volume 2 is now up for sale.
Wow, already? Wow.
Nope.
Already.
Yeah, shout out to Bat Merc, man. He's one of the best online followers out there. He's always on all of our YouTube channels pushing everything. Great supporter. Much appreciated, man.
Yeah. And
now, John, the Volume 2 has alternate or earlier versions of the stories.
Right? Volume 2 of Breckenridge Elkins has the fix-up novel A Gent from Bear Creek, and then it has the 3 knockoff Breckenridge Elkins characters Bob did for the other pulps. Bearfield Elston, Buckner J. Grimes, and Pike Bearfield. All of their stories are in it.
Cool.
And personally, I think the Pike Bearfield story, A Riot in Bucksnort, is one of the funniest stories I have ever read. And it's my favorite of all of his humorous Westerns, because you read it, and Bob was really stretching when he wrote that, because he kind of took what happened with how Bram Stoker wrote Dracula. So it's an epistolary story where you get letters from shady lawyers, letters from shady marshals, newspaper editorials from 2 towns slagging each other off, letters to family members saying this is what happened. And it is just absolutely hilarious. So it's one of the funniest things I've ever read. And it's just a darn shame that he didn't live long enough to continue writing of that, especially when he's starting to branch out with that Pike Bearfield character.
Love that name, Bucksnort, for a town too. Bucksnort. Yeah. Perfect. Sounds like some towns in Oregon where I used to live near. There was a town called Drain in Oregon. Drain, Oregon. So Bucksnort, that sounds right up the alley there. That sounds great. Thank you for that info.
There's a town in Ohio called Knockemstiff.
Oh.
Knockemstiff.
Let's talk about the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society raffle for those of you who haven't heard about that. H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society is a group that has been doing all sorts of stuff on H.P. Lovecraft, putting out books, putting out aids for role-playing games. They've even done some movies. If you've never seen their version of the Call of Cthulhu, it's very fantastic. They decided to do the movie as it would have been done in the late 1920s with that kind of technology. Very faithful to the story, very good. I think they did The Whisper in Darkness, I believe. Was done in, I guess, 1930s, which is also out there and available. But if you go over to their website, they are running a raffle, and every year they try to do a raffle for a charity organization. And they decided that this year they would do it for the Howard House Repair Fund. So they're selling $2 tickets, and there are all sorts of wonderful prizes you can win over there. I think we donated one of the first editions that we had, and we may donate more. And I know, Sean, if you're still on here, that Heroic Signatures has donated a bunch of stuff also over there. And the raffle is running till, I'm going to say, March 14th, because they're going to be drawing the winners on March the 15th. And now that we have this live stream set up and apparently working so far, we're going to try and set up a live stream so that we're talking with the guys from HPL Historical Society, and they will reveal to us on the live stream the amount of money that has been donated so far, or was donated for the raffle that will be going to the house. So if you haven't given them a look, it's the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society.
That's very cool.
And last thing I had on the agenda for news from the foundation is, if you're a member of the foundation or were a member of the foundation during 2025, you can vote in the Robert E. Howard Awards that's going on right now, and it will run till February 17th, and choose who are your favorite people on all of the nominees and all of the various categories. So far, it's been very busy, especially seeing as how it's only been running for 4 days now, and we've had over 41 people voting. So, if you're a foundation member, come on over and vote. Let your voice be heard. Give these people who are working in Robert E. Howard's vein some recognition and appreciation. You guys have any thoughts or questions or anything right now?
I'd say vote for Ishmael and Jeff Shanks. If they're running for anything, vote for them.
No, vote for somebody else. I got plenty of these awards.
Oh,
No,
There's a lot of other people doing great work out there. Give them recognition.
Yeah.
Well,
Get a few
Well, a lot of
more.
that's kind of new to me because I've read my share of Howard, but I haven't looked at much of the scholarship or the art or the other things other than some of what I see on YouTube, Michael K. Vaughn's talk and everyone else talking about it. So I'm still getting familiar with a lot of the nominees. But I think it's a really cool batch. So
it's one of the great things about the awards and about the nominees is it gives people a chance to see some of the great work that's been done out there, and you can go track it down, and it gives you an excuse to do that. That's one of the things I love about it. There were a couple of things I wasn't familiar with this year and went and checked them out and like, oh, that's pretty darn cool. I think I actually wrote about this 10 years ago, but that's still very cool.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of repeating going on, especially here on YouTube with us people, kind of behind the curve, catching up with stuff. But, I have an original idea. Actually, no, I don't.
I wrote about that in like paragraph 3 of Obscure Fanzine number 4 back in whatever. Blah, 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 right? There is a lot of that.
Hang on a second here. Dennis just sent me a collage of the book that he's doing. Right? That's the other thing that you missed, Chris, if you're still on here, is that Dennis McHaney's doing a benefit book for the house. And let me see if I can pull that up.
Yeah, I might have missed that too. Cool. What's this?
And let's see here. Come on.
You're doing great, John. Don't worry. New technology is hard to figure out.
We just got right there.
Okay, let me see about saving that. And talk amongst yourselves, fellas, while I pull this up.
Well, Jeff, can I ask where you're from or where you're located?
I'm in Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yep, been here for many years. Yep, came here for college, FSU, got stuck.
Came for
as one does.
For spring break and never left.
Right? Basically, yeah, exactly.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a good way. I've never been to Florida. I'd really like to go down to the Everglades and the Keys and stuff. It looks like a really cool state, other than maybe all the tourists.
If there have been no other nominations for sexiest Howard fan, I would like to nominate Tim from Secret Fire Books. I think he's a shoe-in for that one.
Well, I'll have to let you know. All right, I got that. So let me see here. And
I like that. Yeah, bearing the hatchet after the 1930 to 36 heated letters exchange, right? Yep.
Heated letters. Ooh.
This is the dust jacket for the book that Dennis McHaney's doing for the benefit for the house. These are all drafts that Bob did for some of his stories with art by Gary Johnny.
That's phenomenal.
Looks like some pirate stories, maybe, or a mix of things. I guess. Huh?
It's a mix of things. It's some of the more famous stories that Bob wrote of characters. And the soft cover of that will be going on sale on our Robert E. Howard Foundation Press website tomorrow, according to Dennis.
Cool.
Dennis, you didn't cause a problem. This is spectacular.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that cover. The wraparound cover is sweet.
Listen,
Yeah.
Dennis does just the best production work and editing of just about anybody out there. Meticulous, hats off. Dennis just looks amazing.
Yeah, I love that cover painting. That's great. Pirate Bob. Yeah, Pirate Bob picture is great. Yeah. With his fence from behind his house there, it looks like. That's great. Yeah.
You haven't seen any of the pictures of Bob with his next door neighbors, the Butlers, in their pirate garb, Jeff?
No, I've just seen the various real famous ones, like the one where he's sword fighting with his buddy and somewhere out in the field somewhere nearby, and the one with him and his hat and a few others. But no, I haven't seen. I'm sure that's in one of in the Mark Finn's book or one of the books that I have around here. But no, I haven't seen that one. I'll look for it.
Yeah, here, I'll throw one up for you there.
Who hasn't had neighbors that like to dress as pirates? I mean, who am I has not had that happen?
Steve, you do that every weekend, right?
Well, all my neighbors have a neighbor who likes to dress as a pirate and run around in the yard.
I do have a pirate costume around here somewhere, I have to admit.
Should I say?
I'd love to have a pirate costume. I don't. Oh, yeah, that's very cool. So that's a real picture of him. Wow.
Yeah, that's a real picture of him with
Evan's
Leroy
here.
and Alstein.
This seems like the moment when Andrea should pop in because we're talking about pirates.
That's very cool. I've not seen that one before. That's awesome.
There's a series of 3. Let me see if I can pull up some more here.
I always was under the impression there weren't that many photos of Bob. So seems like you guys have done some good work unearthing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, some new ones have turned up over the last decade or so. It's pretty cool.
You see over and over again the one with him in the what do you call that kind of hat? It's not a Panama hat, but the fedora kind of. But cool. Are those old Civil War sabers? I wonder where they got a hold of those swords.
Bob had a collection of swords.
Collection. Yeah, Bobby Deary. Bobby, you're on here. Didn't you do some work on Howard's swords or something, or try to ID some of these at one point? Because I know Bobby collects swords too.
The other guy looks like he's holding some kind of more of a épée or some more of a cutlass or something that's a little less thick. That's cool. Interesting.
Jeff knows his swords. You guys, I don't know if you guys knew that, but Jeff is really familiar with different kinds of swords.
I wish I was. I just know enough to get in trouble. That's all. Did some fencing in college. That was it. But as soon as they started attaching the little electrical sensors and you had to go in a straight line, I was like, I'm out. This is boring.
Forget that straight line stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You don't fight in a straight line in real life.
I want to see him with a broadsword because I've heard that like they used to grab the sharp end and hit each other over the head with the other end. Is that a real thing? Did Robert E. Howard ever do any of that kind of stuff? Everybody's looking at me like, what are you even talking about?
No, I'm just thinking about the new Game of Thrones thing, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is a really good show, by the way. And they have a really hardcore joust and fight 7 against 7. And it's pretty realistic from the point of view of it's all muddy and misty and people are taking some serious damage. So
Badmark asked a good question that I think we've talked about before, which the voice recording of Robert E. Howard, and we were asking about that.
Oh yeah,
John.
It'd be nice to know what he sounded like.
Was the movie accurate, and is there information on what he might have sounded like?
I thought D'Onofrio.
I understand
the movie, but
yeah. And Jeff, correct me on this, but actually, it was your compatriot in crime, Steve Paul, who said that he found it actually, but that Robert D'Onofrio went and talked with Novelyn Price, and that she coached him on his betrayal of Bob Howard, and that Bob, I think, at times was supposed to have sort of like a thin voice almost at times, as well as a good bellow. So, if you watch that movie, The Whole Wide World, which will be shown at Howard Days this year, with the writer, producer, and I think one of the actors showing up, not D'Onofrio or
Not
Renee
D'Onofrio.
Zellweger.
I was about to book my flight.
Yeah, he's an awesome actor. I think he's an excellent choice to play for that movie. He was probably the best thing about that.
But the story is because you're right. Paul did do a good job of asking those questions, and so it sounds like if you watch that movie, like you may have an approximation of what Bob might have sounded like.
But how he sounded, how he looked, and how he walked and talked and carried himself.
It's about as close as we're going to get.
I especially like him talking, narrating the story out loud as he's pounding the keyboard of his typewriter. That's always how I imagined Howard doing it. So
that's how it was described. A lot of people described that. Yeah.
Didn't he also say supposedly he felt like Conan was behind him relating his tales as he was typing away?
Right.
The Evan of Stygian Dogs asked, have we convinced Vincent D'Onofrio to come to Howard Days? My understanding is that he doesn't really want to come and hang out or do that for whatever reason. So
for whatever reason, he'd rather, hang by the pool at his mansion or whatever, but not that he's, filthy rich probably, but
most filthy. I don't know about rich.
Most actors are a little leery of these kind of fans, I think, but usually because I know a lot of the ones that were involved with Star Trek, when they end up showing up, because they were really leery at first, but when they show up, they end up having a great time. So I think there's this image probably cultivated by William Shatner back in the day, get a life or whatever, that
That's a
lot of actors are thinking, I'm going to be approached by a bunch of weirdos, and you can't really blame them for that fear.
Have you ever kissed a girl?
Have you ever kissed a girl? Do you live in your basement?
It's accurate.
Hey, Dennis makes a great
point.
Do
you go by Vince? I don't know what you go by, but if you're watching, you should come to Howard Days. It's a good time. You get to meet some of your fans. We're not that weird.
Hey, Stygian Dogs has actually gotten him to respond to his tweet.
Oh,
so Evan, man, you should hit him up. Get him.
We have an insight.
You're our only contact. Your only hope. You gotta work on him.
Well, I'm sure Vincent would love to be asked about that movie rather than 27 more questions about playing, Kingpin and Daredevil.
Full Metal Jacket,
or Full Metal Jacket or something. Yeah.
Here's a collage of.
Oh, cool.
Hey, we got Aurelia Wilder in the house.
Oh wow, the
poetry expert. She runs the poetry at Howard Days every year.
That's beautiful. Right there.
D'Onofrio would enjoy the chicken fried steak. Yes, I'm sure he would.
So that's for those of you who are just showing up, that Dennis McHaney's doing as a benefit for the Howard House Repair Fund that's coming out. The soft cover will be available for ordering tomorrow on rehfpress.com, and it's got new art by Gary Johnny, so you're seeing some of that.
That's fantastic.
And Dennis is one of these strict people that he always wants everybody to know that the correct way to pronounce the character's name is Conan, not Conan.
Yep.
And we know that from people who knew Bob and said that's how Bob pronounced it, as Conan.
I'm sure it's correct. It's like Arthur Conan Doyle, but I can't help but saying Conan. I've said
it makes me cringe. Same with Tarzan too, by the way. Just throwing that out.
Yeah, I like Tarzan. I don't like Tarzan, but I will quickly and readily admit when I'm wrong about how I pronounce things, but I'll still go ahead with my ignorance probably. So.
Like Solomon King. Do you say Solomon?
I don't say Solomon. I will. I'm usually not so bad about that.
Steve Costigan.
Evan's asking for the contents of that first passage. Those are the drafts of some of Howard's more famous stories, transcribed by Dennis, so that you can see what some of the earlier drafts of these stories. And I do not know exactly. I think Dennis did tell me at one point some of the stories. I think there might be an El Borak one in there. There might be The cost again,
I think it
I can't
mentions on the
remember
back
offhand.
of Borak and yeah.
So
Bat Mark's right. That yellow cover design is really striking. Yeah, it really pops.
And while you're here, Jeff, let's get into some Howard Days info for the folks who are planning or thinking
that's
about
a great
coming.
idea. Yeah, great idea.
So,
we've got some panels already lined up. We don't have all the participants locked down just yet. But let's go through this. We've got some of the folks in the chat. Really, if you're still on there, I think you're going to be moderating either the first or second panel on Friday on the first day. And it's going to be a whole wide world panel. We're going to have Michael Scott Myers, who is the screenwriter, who's one of Novelin's students. He's going to be on the panel, and I think he's got a special guest. Really, who else is on that panel? What do you got lined up for us? She's chatting. She's in the chat there.
Real quick, for people who've never been to Howard Days, so officially it's Friday and Saturday, the second weekend in June.
Yep.
Has the unofficial opening on Thursday. And on Thursday, I saw in the schedule now that the house is now going to be open allegedly at noon instead of 2 p.m.
Right.
And
so if you get
house is going to be crowded.
Yeah, well, let's say this on Thursday. If you do get there a day early, that's a great time to get there before the crowds. You can see the house when it's not quite as crowded on that first day. So those of you that can make it, on that first day, that's a great time to get there and see it. Get to meet folks before all the crowds get there. Most of us will be there hanging out. We've got getting back to the panels. So the first day we've got the whole wide world panel. That'll be at our normal location. Then we're going to have we've got a new location for some of our discussion panels this year at the coffee house downtown, the coffee shop, where we have kind of a more relaxed atmosphere. We can have more of a roundtable type discussion. And we're going to have a women in REH panel, and on that right after the whole wide world thing, or actually that one may be first, and then the whole wide world one. I forget the order exactly. And then I believe that first day we have the Glenn Lord Symposium, which I'll be hosting, and we do that every year. That's a academic panel where we present, some of the papers and, articles that are being, given at conferences and, work that's being done by grad students and professors out there in the academic world on Robert E. Howard. This is where we get a chance to, show fans, what's going on in that world a little bit. It's not as academic and dry and boring as it sounds. One of the things I try to do is tell them like, hey, this is a different audience, zhuzh it up a little bit, But we're gonna
get some boxing in the middle of the panel.
Right, exactly. Right. We're gonna have Dan Yergert from Conan Chronology. He's going to be making his Howard Days debut this year. I know he's nominated for a couple of the Howard Foundation Awards this year. I think for the Venarium Award for Emerging Scholar. He'll be given a paper. We're gonna have. I'm hoping to have a surprise student. That's going to zoom in if we can pull off the technology. So we'll see how that goes. Then Friday night will be the banquet and dinner. And I believe this year we're going to do the awards at the banquet, which I think is going to be better. I like that better. That's kind of that's what banquets are for, right? Giving out awards.
Yeah.
So that'll be, we always have a great banquet. That's always a lot of fun. We'll have our guest of honor, Rusty Burke, will give a keynote address there. And then on the second day, we've got another special panel at the coffee shop, and this one's going to be on Robert E. Howard and Conan on YouTube, and we're going to have some of our folks there. John, I can't remember if I've told you yet that you're moderating that panel, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna have some of our. We're gonna have Sean Curley from the.
Can you afford
Conan
my
YouTube.
moderator's fee?
I know, right? And
is Michael Cavon going to be there? He's going to come over from.
We are hoping to have Michael Cavon. We have hit him up. I don't know, Michael, if you're watching, pressure's on now. He's. I don't know if he's given you. he was saying, I don't know if we got the official yet or not, but
Will Michael be there, Roger?
yes.
Bring Roger,
on
Michael.
there. Evan from Stygian Dogs is going to be on there. Lion from Hobbies of a Man, and Sean Curley from the official Conan YouTube channel. And again, this will be at the coffee shop, roundtable discussion, a more informal kind of vibe, talking about what's it like on YouTube now? It's blowing up. What's it like trying to start your own channel? And it'd be a good chance if anybody else is wanting to get in on the YouTube game. Great chance to ask these guys questions and learn from them. Then we're gonna have the 40th anniversary of Howard Days panel with the guest of honor, Rusty Burke, and our special guest, Indy Bill Cavalier, who were two of the original 6 people that came to Cross Plains for the first Howard Days back in 1986, and they're going to talk about that experience. We'll talk about Howard Days over the years. Then we'll have the what we do every year, the What's Up with Robert E. Howard. That'll be talking about some of the things that will be coming out. We'll probably have Paul from the foundation talking about what the foundation's doing. I think we're going to have Marcus Cronander from Heroic Signatures talking about some of their projects. Hopefully we can twist his arm into giving us a little sneak preview of something before it gets debuted at Comic-Con a few weeks later. Maybe we'll get a little something from him. So it's going to be a lot of fun, great panels. We're going to have tours, of Cross Plains on, I believe, Friday morning. Then we do a tour of the house on Saturday. It's a great time to come and really just hang out with your fellow fans. It's not like a typical con. It's much more like a pilgrimage. I often describe it that way because let's face it, Cross Plains is not easy to get to. You got to drive out in the middle of nowhere, fly into Dallas, rent a car, drive. It's you got to really want to get there. And so everybody's there. It's like making that pilgrimage, to a kind of special place. And, it feels more like a family reunion than a con. And it truly is that way. So,
Jeff,
so
sorry, this is probably on the website, but what is the admission fee? And do you have to be a member of the foundation to join?
You do not have to be a member of the foundation. It's generally everything at Howard Days is free, except for the Friday night banquet, and that's $35. They only have 150 places. Yep. So you need to get your money in to Project Pride.
Sounds very reasonable.
And information is howarddays.com is the website that we run. It's one word, Howard Days, 2 Ds, and it has all the information. And Indy or Bill Cavalier keeps updating it, especially as we get closer and closer with more and more information. But it gives you the website or the email address, because Project Pride does accept PayPal. They also now accept Venmo and something else in checks. And it also lists off, because there used to be that god awful motel in Cross Plains, Highway 36 motel, which, talked to some of us. I never stayed at it, but I did go in and see some of the rooms. Jeff, you stayed there a few times.
I have. Many times.
You go in and there's a shower and you've got plants growing in the shower.
Oh, wow. Is there camping facilities nearby?
There's a GoFundMe to fix up the Highway 36 motel.
Right. No, it's torn down.
Aurelia says no drinking horns at the banquet. Sorry. Damn it, Aurelia.
I was just wondering if there was a place to camp, or if you could,
you guys said it was like a family reunion, and now you're saying there's no drinking horns. Have you not been to family reunions?
There's drinking. There's drinking, but no drinking horns are provided.
Not at the banquet.
Callahan used to be a dry county till just about, I want to say, maybe 10 years ago when they voted to become wet.
Wow.
So yes, but there is a beer barn, a drive-through beer barn, just a few hundred yards down from the Howard House.
Pavilion, you'll be taken care of. You'll be all right.
One of the glories in Texas, we have drive-through beer barns.
To answer Jeff's question about camping, anything's a campground if you try hard.
Is that RV park still
Lake
there?
Brownwood State Park. You can camp there. They have cabins as well as other places. Their Brownwood, of course, being a big city, has lots of motels, hotels in it. Coleman is another close city which has motels, hotels. You've got Eastland, Cisco, where the Hilton chain started in Cisco.
Wow.
And all of the motels, close motels, are listed on the Howard Days website. So, go look to there. I usually stay now at the Flagship Inn on Lake Brownwood, because that's just about the closest motel to Cross Plains. It's only about 20 miles away. So
a lot of folks are going to be staying at the Flagship this year, from what I understand. Hey, real quick, I really answered my question and I missed it on the whole wide world panel. We're going to have Bobby Deary, who's on the chat here as well, is going to be on that panel, but also the actor who played Tevis Clyde Smith is going to be on the panel. Mike Myers was able to bring him in, so we are going to have an actor. It won't be Vincent D'Onofrio, but
did you say Mike Myers will be there?
Yes, not Mike, not Halloween Mike Myers, but
and not Austin Powers Mike.
And not Austin Powers Mike Myers.
Hey,
he might be a fan. Who knows?
Just look, I'm no marketing expert. I don't want to tell you guys how to do your business, but if you put that Mike Myers will be there, don't clarify.
I mean, it's technically true.
You'll probably get a pretty big turnout.
Yeah, you might get a different sort of crowd.
That's true, and a lot of disappointed fans.
I believe Rutger Hauer asked how Rusty's doing. I haven't talked with him personally. He seems to be emailing fairly well last few times. Have you talked with him lately, Jeff?
I was texting with Rusty just the other day. He seems to be doing really well. And we're all very, very happy about that.
Great.
And sure. Bobby Deary just popped up. For those of you who've never been, every year Bobby brings free books that he does, that he hands out to everybody who shows up. So,
wow.
Oh, that's so nice.
And from what he's saying, one of them I've been wanting for years, that I'm gonna if he's able to get that done, it's just going to be the highlight for me, because that's the book I've been wanting to be done for years. And for those of you who are into actually learning about Howard's biography, it would be just wonderful to get this book finally.
So Aurelia is right. Let's talk about Project Pride for sure. For those who don't know, Project Pride is the nonprofit that bought the Howard House back in, I believe, 89, 90, and has been maintaining it all these years. They are the ones, the foundation, we work and help support them, and their, maintenance of the house, and help them with, putting on Howard Days. They are an incredible bunch. They work tirelessly. They are, when you show up there, they're going to be the docents that lead you around the house and help interpret it for you and tell you everything. We're very lucky to have a local organization there that is so supportive of Robert E. Howard and so welcoming for all of us fans, welcoming into their town. Big shout out to Arlene Stevenson and Project Pride and all the others there, Jackie and Judy, all of y'all. You do amazing work, and we're all so appreciative of you.
Well, I'd really love to go to this Howard Days, but it's not on the cards for a while yet. It's right in the midst of the semester for me over here. But one of these days, I'm going to get there.
Yep, you got to do it.
Well, Dirk was saying, when you come over to the United States, if you could set up a special trip and head on over to Howard House, give me enough notice and I'll meet you up there and help show you around Cross Plains in the area.
Well, that would be great. Yeah, that's something much more doable for me because of the time frame. But I appreciate that offer. I'll make the pilgrimage one day, one way or the other. But Howard Days sounds like a blast. So
sounds awesome.
I'd love to get there.
Steve,
you're going to drive down?
Well, it's
only
definitely
a couple thousand miles, right, from where you're at?
Paul and I, my compatriot from Check Yourself, we've been talking about a road trip for a long time. We both have kids who are graduating high school this year, and so we're both going to be empty nesters starting later this year. So we're like, we could totally Thelma and Louise this whole thing.
I was thinking Easy Rider, Steve.
Hop in the convertible, Oh yeah, that's a good point. Maybe why wasn't that my first thought? Anyway, there's a whole
You look studying it.
My therapist and I will have a long conversation about that. But we will definitely we could rent a convertible, hop in a car, put on a whole outfit, and make our way down there. And yeah, we're totally going to do that at some point. It might not be this year, could be next year. We're into it. Totally.
I think there will be some booktubers making it down, though. I believe Jake and from Pope Mortem and Chris from Liminal Spaces are talking about it. Maybe Tim, Secret Fire Books. Yeah. Tim's in the chat. So Tim, you going to make it this summer, or what do you think?
Can you commit right now?
Yes, commit, Tim. Commit.
For commitment. I'm definitely joining the foundation and getting the next 2 boxing books. You know, Paul tried to introduce me to my friend Paul tried to introduce me to Robert E. Howard years ago, and I had trouble getting into it because I was too young and not wise enough. But the whole booktube thing, like, it became an assignment. You have to read this Solomon Kane book or this Solomon Kane short story, you know, before our next episode. And I did, and I was like, this is really good. I really like this. And then he's like, Tower of the Elephant, read that. And I read that. And then I've said this a million times. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. I found this book at the library, Waterfront Fists by Robert E. Howard, which, by the way, is about 4 months overdue. But it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's on my daughter's library card.
She has to worry about it.
So she might need to worry about it, but I don't. She's graduating from high school this year. And they're so fun. These Steve Costigan stories are so fun and so easy to read. So I really got into that, and it's really been a delight. It's made me fall in love with the idea of Robert E. Howard's work. And so I've been reading some Conan stuff, some Solomon Howard stuff. Solomon Kane stuff. So anyway, if you don't stop me soon, I'll just keep talking. So you guys should just jump in and be like, thank you, Steve.
You know. Aurelia is asking if anybody has any questions about Howard Days, and I just open it up. Anybody have any questions about Robert E. Howard or any of his stuff? You know, feel free to ask. You know, Steve, you're new here.
In the chat. Any of you guys got any questions in the chat? You know, pick our brains.
What about food? Yeah. Is there food?
Jeff, I have a question for Jeff. Jeff, I've watched part of the Glenn Lord video on this channel, which is awesome so far. But I'm trying to recall, were you one of the ones who had actually had correspondence or met Glenn Lord?
I didn't. I never met Glenn, and I got really involved in Howard's stuff just as he was getting out, and I unfortunately I never had the opportunity to meet him in person and really interact with him, and I truly regret it that he was. And he passed away before I had the opportunity to, really, as I was just getting involved, probably, 15, 16 years ago, however long it's been now. So yes, unfortunately, no, I didn't get to. I do have, one of my, I don't know if I have it handy here, right? I do have one of my most prized pieces in my collection, though, is was Glenn Lord's copy of the 1938 Laney Hyborian Age, which is one of the rarest Howard collectibles. Donald Wollheim and Forey Ackerman published as a tribute to Howard in 1938, and there's probably maybe 10 or less of those that survive.
Wow!
And I have Glenn's copy, which is one of the it's all, especially for somebody like me. My big thing is Howard's world building, right? And so, this publication, it's the first full publication of the Hyborian Age essay. The first map of the Hyborian Age was published there. The one that was, that Miller and Clark did, based on the one that Howard sent them. Lovecraft contributed to it and all that. So that's one of my coolest things is this, collectible that was Glenn's. It's kind of a holy artifact,
Yes, I bet.
Right.
Yeah, I think we have a lot to thank him for. So
yeah, 100%.
I know he wasn't the most careful of custodian of that. Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Was that Glenn's?
That is Glenn's. This is from Glenn Lord's collection. This contains the Weird Western story that was the first Robert E. Howard story that I ever read. the dead remember that turned me into an instant Robert E. Howard fan. So I was lucky enough to get this at the Windy City Pulp Convention.
Very nice.
Is that the previous name for Pulp Fest, John?
No, they're two separate.
The different one. Yeah, that would be in Chicago, right?
Yeah,
right. Not in Pittsburgh.
Windy City's in Chicago. Pulp Fest was originally PulpCon in Ohio, and I think Dayton, Ohio. I'm not real certain on that. Or no, I'm sorry, Columbus, Ohio.
It was
Yeah. Columbus, Ohio. Then they shut that down and turned it into Pulp Fest and moved over to Mars, Pennsylvania, I believe.
There it is.
So it's outside Pittsburgh.
There it is.
Is the Windy Cindy con still going? Wow.
Oh yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's
Windy
it
City
right there.
Con happens every April in Chicago.
Hard to see, but
Or actually Lombard.
all the glare on there, but I'm not taking it out of the Mylar.
No, I don't blame you.
Incredibly fragile, that one.
Wow.
You know,
Windy City Con, it's probably really a lot closer to me. I live in Indiana, so Windy City Con, look that up.
You and Paul need to do a video recording vlog about it, visiting
Seriously?
there, man. That's a quick road trip for you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love that city.
You guys actually live in the same state as Bill Cavalier because he lives in Indiana too.
All right. Well, we got to hook up. We got to meet up. Hey, guys, I got good news and bad news. The good news is I got to go. The bad news is I'm going to miss the rest of the conversation, but just had family member return home from college, and I got to go say hello. So
it's not your daughter looking for that library book, is it?
No, it's not. My daughter hasn't gone off to get my son, who knows better than let me use this library book. But hey, thanks for having me on. You know what? And thanks for doing what you do. Everybody who's watching, donate to the Project Pride, to the house, buy these books. I'm a new fan, so you can experience what it's like to be a new fan of Robert E. Howard through my eyes. And I appreciate you guys embracing me and not judging me for not having discovered it sooner. So
welcome to the madness. You're one of us now. One of us. One of us.
Hey, Steve. Guys.
Thanks,
Good
Steve.
talking with you, man.
See you, Steve.
We had a couple questions here. Aurelia has been doing our job for us, answering questions here. Check it out. So Rutger Hauer asked, how confident are we that we have all of Howard's letters? And as Aurelia said, obviously we don't know, because they do occasionally pop up every now and then. Even we got some new ones, even between the first edition of the 3-volume collected letters that the foundation did, and the new collected letters that are out, that came out a year ago. John, how many new letters did we get in between there?
We have 4 new letters. 2 actually showed up in the appendices of volume 3, and then 2 have been found since volume 3 came out. I was talking with Will Oliver. He thinks he may have a potential lead on some more letters. So I'm because I've been needing to update the letters books. And so I've been holding off on updating it because I don't want to be doing that and get halfway through and have to redo everything. So
this is one of the new ones. This is one of the 4 new ones that popped up on eBay, or not on eBay, rather on Facebook a few years ago. This is the one that was probably to Robert Barlow's friend, where he's talking about the turpentine camps in Florida. I ended up managing to pry this away from, it was August Derleth had it at one point. Barlow had it, then Barlow got it to Derleth, and then it was sold to a collector who had it for decades. And he came on Facebook and just posted it. It was like, hey, by the way, I've got this letter. And it just came out of nowhere. So you never know when that's going to happen. That was just a few years ago. And then Patrice got it, and somehow I managed to get it away from Patrice. And for me, it's appropriate because I've actually done archaeological work on Florida turpentine camps, like what he's talking about. So it's pretty darn cool. There's yours.
What is a turpentine camp? Is it just like a kind of mine or something? They're
no,
it's
actually one of the darker stories in Florida history, unfortunately. It was a way of keeping a form of enslavement going on through the Jim Crow era, where people would be put in, African Americans would be put in debt and have to, basically they would get their debt sold to turpentine and timber companies and have to work in work camps. It's actually a really sad story, but part of our history, And
the letter is referring to it. Sorry, John.
Yeah, it's Howard's asking Barlow's friend about research he was doing on voodoo in the turpentine camps. This is coming after the period where Zora Neale Hurston was also doing anthropological work on the turpentine camps and talking about it really would have been hoodoo, right? That's probably what they were talking about and what they were referring to. So it's kind of cool.
We have Michael K. Vaughn in the chat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, there he is.
Hey, MKV in the house. Nice. Thanks for that, Jeff. I should know more about that already, but that's
if you ever heard the phrase owe your soul to the company store, that's essentially what this is talking about. You were stuck in debt slavery, essentially. What do we got there, John?
The penultimate writing we have from Bob to his friend Thurston Torbett in Marlin, Texas. And it's his postcard says, "Dear Thurston, my mother is very low. I fear she has not many days to live. Give my best regards to your parents, signed Bob." And it's handwritten on the front by Thurston. Received June 4th, 1936.
That's cool.
So,
yikes.
Since we got MKV in the house here, we're going to put the pressure on him. Michael, you coming to Howard Days? We got a spot on the YouTube panel waiting for you.
We should get Mike on this live. I'll get out of here and bring Mike in. It's much better guest, I think. Wow, that's
Michael, do you want to?
That's something else that you guys have some great memorabilia there, and some of it's pretty sober.
A thing or two.
I'm sure it cost a pretty penny, especially that the one that had from Glenn Lord's collection, and also John's pulp there.
Yeah,
probably not cheap.
I did buy that from his widow, and she 100% knew exactly how much it was worth. Yes.
Good. Well, I guess that's good for her, not for you.
100%. But I didn't mind. That was a holy grail for me.
You have any other questions about Bob or his stories or Howard Days or the foundation?
Well, I have a question about how Howard Days got started. Whose idea was it? And there were only 6 people there, so was it just a couple of fans that said, "Hey, let's meet up"? I mean, what's the origin of this?
Well, we don't want to say too much because that's going to steal, Rusty's thunder at Howard Days. But basically, it was it's just a bunch of Howard fans.
No, that's okay. I mean, that is the gist of it. Essentially, they were all members of Ray Hoopa, right? The Robert E. Howard United Press Association. For those of you who may not know what an APA is, and it was it's basically, and it's still going on today. In fact, I owe India a zine, or I'm going to get kicked out. You have all the members they all do their own zines, and they send them into an editor who collates them all and puts them together and sends all the copies out to everybody else. And the Robert E. Howard United Press Association is one of the longest running active APAs that's still in existence. It's the kind of fan activity, though, that even like Howard and Lovecraft were doing similar things in their day. It is kind of a lost art in this digital age with paper and staples and a Xerox machine, right? But there's some of us that still do it. And it was members of Ray Hoopa back in 1986. And I don't know the details. We'll have to get it. We'll get them at Howard Days, right? We'll hear it all. But 6 of them, I guess they were all relatively in the area. They decided they wanted to go to Howard Days and they chose the anniversary of his death because they all wanted to go and kind of pour one out for Bob, basically, I guess was the idea behind it. And they all just met and showed up there and ended up at the library and, met some folks and got to see the house and all of that. I will say, for those of you who may not know, one of the other 6 was Nancy Collins. And I don't know, some of you may know Nancy Collins. She ended up becoming a professional writer. She wrote comics, wrote novels. She had the Sonia Blue series and the vampire series in the 90s. It was very popular. Probably best known for taking over Swamp Thing at DC after Alan Moore left. And wrote Red Sonja, and she's still around. She's involved in Atlanta fandom still today. But the other three, I think, kind of dropped out of fandom, and don't really know what happened to them. But yeah, that's kind of how it started, and then people started coming back, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, and here we are, 40 years later.
Well, that's great. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
As just quickly answered Bat Merck's question, he said any other stories he could recommend to his young daughter when she's old enough other than the Dark Agnes stories. I said The Shadow of the Vulture for the original Red Sonja.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of Howard's best historical stories, just a rip-roaring barn burner of a story. So I think once she reads that, she'll be running around the house trying to kill people. So.
Yeah, for better or worse. Yeah.
And Rutgers says, we're all thrilled when a new letter is found. John must be slightly triggered knowing the complete letters are now incomplete. You don't know the hell I have been living through ever since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you go to Howard Days, just ask me, and I'll give you some of the horror that I went through and getting those 3 books done. And it's a never-ending job now because they keep finding new letters. So, Rob Ream was smart when he said, "Nope, I did the first edition. Right? That's it. No more. Somebody else, some other sucker's going to have to do it." So, Good night, Evan. Take care.
Hi, brother.
We have any other questions? Or
see you, Evan.
Aurelia is asking about Howard's world building. Well, if you want an in-depth dive on world building, go to my YouTube channel at An Age Undreamed Of. I'm going to be dropping a lot of world building videos, but I will say this: Howard doesn't get enough credit for his world building. He was an incredibly intricate world builder. People don't realize that, mostly because I think the camp kind of downplayed his world building ability. I forget the phrase that he used. It was like thrown together, slapdash or something. It wasn't. It was an ongoing process. He started developing his fictional prehistoric world from the beginning of his career in the mid 1920s, all the way up, through 35, 36 at the end of his career. He was working on this shared, what we would today call a shared universe for his characters. And it was a mix of fantastic archaeology and pseudo-archaeology and occult ideas with Atlantis and Lemuria and all of these things mixed with what he was learning, from real history and real anthropology and archaeology, to create a really interesting take on our own world. And sometimes I like to say it. I was actually just saying this in the video I was recording tonight with Sean over on the Conan channel, that one of Howard's best characters in the Conan stories, in the Cole stories, is the world he created. The Hyborian Age itself is one of his greatest characters. So I'll leave that one.
Well, I think people, these days with all these big fat doorstopper fantasy novels where the world building is just ladled on with the trowel,
Yep.
Howard just throws you right in the story, and the world building is just,
it's organic,
coming in through osmosis, kind of, right?
Yeah, the story does the building for you, right? As you're dragged along through it, and
so it's so well done and so skillful that people probably downplay it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, I'm probably gonna have to bail too. Anybody else got any more questions for me before I jump? I think we talked about the house. We talked about all those things. You guys can always hit me up. I'm not hard to find online.
Yeah. For those of you interested in possibly becoming members of the foundation, we have 3 tiers of membership. The basic is supporting, and that's $9.99, and you get 10% off for everything you ordered from the Robert E. Howard Foundation Press website. Next tier is supporting, and that's $49. And in addition to the 10% off, you get the our quarterly newsletter. And then the final tier is Legacy Circle for $99. And you get all that plus special invitations to events when we have them, and other things. And sometimes we do legacy gifts for the Legacy Circle members. And I think the last one we did was 2 years ago, where I put together all of the drafts we had for the People of the Dark story. And we put that out in the booklet and sent that out. And we got the Legacy Circle gift set up for this year that we're currently just about finished on. And I don't want to say too much more about that, but if you're interested in a certain character and certain early drafts of a certain story, you may want to think about becoming a Legacy Circle member if you have the $99 to spend. And again, also, if you haven't and would like to help out, please contribute to the Howard House Repair Fund. That's at our Robert E. Howard Foundation website, rehfoundation.org. Any amount that you can give is greatly appreciated by us. And I think you have anything you want to plug there, Jeff?
No, I'm fine.
Wrong Jeff.
Sorry. Too many Jeffs. Sorry, Jeff.
Jeff Prime and Jeff New Guy.
Go ahead.
All right.
Yep, what do you got?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well,
Thank you. I just appreciate you having me on, and I love what you guys are doing, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thanks for coming
it's
on.
great meeting you.
And upcoming work from us, going to be doing a video next week for Breckenridge Elkins.
Nice.
On the 15th, we're going to be setting up a live stream with the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society for the end of their raffle for their big charity donation to the repair fund for the house, and see what they've been able to get from everybody. If you haven't been to the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society website to buy a raffle ticket for all of the great prizes that are being offered, please go give them a look. And then we have various other videos percolating in the back of my mind that I'm trying to get people lined up for to show up for. So outside of that, thank you all for watching and sending in questions and talking in the chat. And but we hope you enjoyed it, got some information, some excitement, and we will be talking to you all soon. Oh, last thing again, if you're interested in coming to Howard Days, go to howarddays.com. One word, Howard Days, with 2 Ds, and it has all of the information you need for planning your trip to Cross Plains for Howard Days in June, on June 11th, 12th, 13th for certain, and hopefully the 11th also. So I believe that's it. So thanks everybody for watching, and we will see you sometime soon.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you all.
Yeah.